Hey guys, it's Otti again. I'm sitting in an online call with three members of the band KALANDRA. Hi, first of all.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. It's three members. Your fourth member will come in a few minutes, so we can introduce him as well. But first of all, as people may kick in that don't know you, as I didn't before, can you tell your names and your instrument or part in the band?
Yeah, I'm Katrine. I am the singer and the songwriter, and
I'm Jogeir. I'm the guitarist.
And I'm Oskar. I'm the drummer.
and later Florian will probably be around here, and he's also playing guitar. But all of us do a little bit of everything, so we also produce and compose and help each other write. So
Very cool. And one can say your music is like modern folk, northern folk, but maybe can you tell yourself, how would you describe it to someone who never heard of you?
Lately I've started to say that like, because people might ask, well, what does it sound like? And then I tend to say, what if Pink Floyd met Kate Bush in an elevator? And then I just started to jam. It's maybe a bit pretentious, but it gives people an idea of what that would sound like. So
that's a cool description, yes. For me, it was, for example, I can compare with the band I love, it's Faun from Germany, maybe you know.
yeah.
Also a little bit, or Omnia, or all those pagan folk, modern folk bands.
I would say that we're probably a bit more modern than the sort of authentic folk bands like Faun and stuff. I feel like maybe they're a bit more folk than we are, but potentially we are a bit more.
I think depends on which album you see, because they have electronic elements in many of their songs. So this is not traditional having electronics, but they have many traditional elements as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And as far as I've seen, you have started in 2012, and we have to say you come from Scandinavia, from Norway and Sweden. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you met in England, so maybe you can tell this story at first, how all this started.
Yeah, I started the band in spring 2011 because and I was studying music in Liverpool, UK, and then I'll fast forward this guy and Florian, they were in the same class, and they came in sort of autumn 2012. No, is that right? No, autumn 2011. And then, well, the band didn't really get legs to walk on until 2012-ish. But that's when sort of things started to evolve a bit more. And then we've just been sort of failing our way forwards in a way, experimenting and trying different things. And then you didn't join until 2018. Okay. Because we moved back to Norway in 2015, and then I asked some friends, do you know some good drummers around? And we had an audition, and then we auditioned Oskar. A friend of mine had told me that he is solid, and then I had to ask him if he wanted to come by, and very happy with that decision.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, but your first official EP was in 2017, I think. Was it like this?
Yes.
So Oskar wasn't part of this at that time.
No.
So
no, and he wasn't very much part of making our debut album either. He sort of he came in towards the end of that process, but he is definitely, playing with us and on all of those songs, but the actual recordings have been done by various drummers that we knew at the time to be able to finalize.
I think I recorded most of the drum songs. I think it's one or two, which is not me.
Oh, okay. I remember that we were in the studio with.
Yeah, it was a Brand New World and wirklich,
Okay. Yeah. My memory is getting foggy. I'm getting old, you know.
What should I say? I think I'm even much older.
You remember when our EP was out? I'm like,
I had Wikipedia and I have my notes here, so
yeah.
this is why I remember your
Yeah.
your publications. So I think the first album, as I noted down, was 2020 then. Is it right? It came into the
Yep.
pandemic, so
Yep.
probably something difficult, as many bands have discovered.
I think it was a blessing and a curse in a way, because we were getting a lot of traction at the time with our, we just signed a deal with the by Norse and with the our booking agency at the time, and we had some great opportunities coming, and we just played like a very good show in March 2020, and we got some good offers to play some shows, and then we closed down like a few days after that. And but then that gave us time to focus on finishing the album. So
Yeah.
I think the line came out probably half a year earlier than it otherwise would have. So blessing and a curse.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it as quite a peaceful time, because we got the opportunity to sort of focus on finishing our songs in a way that we wouldn't have before. So and here he is.
Hello. Please continue.
Hi.
Here's Florian.
Hi, Florian.
Pleasure.
Otti, hi. And the people outside watching you coming in. We are live and not live, but this will be published, so just that you don't wonder.
Not stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we've just
We already introduced you, Florian, guitar player.
Yeah.
we've just been talking about the first album and when it came out, and that the pandemic helped you to at least finish it. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, always. Yeah, the silver lining and all that. It was nice to have the extra time and to figure things out during the pandemic. Being able to take our time to write and finish and polish.
So, would you say the album got even better for during this times, calming down? Is it like this?
Sorry?
Oh yeah, you mean the first album?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I would say it benefited from the extra amount of time we had. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
when I mean, now for example, the situation where now, you know, society is up and running again, but we have to do everything at once. It's like you make an album, you also plan a tour, you also have to finish music videos, and you have to release singles, and you need to create the artwork for the singles, and
you have to do interviews.
and you have to do interviews, and then you have to make sure that there's money and that there's a constant cash flow. So, and yeah, that you're able to do all of those things at once. Whereas when pandemic hit, it was like, oh, we can't tour. Oh no, I guess we can just focus on writing. So
it did give us a breather, yes.
Yeah.
But more than that, it did give us the experience of writing an album and actually finishing like an actual album.
Yeah.
Without all the additional stress that Katrine was talking about. So it got easier this time around when we had to do also this album and the Norseland's soundtrack, because we had that experience of creating an album sort of separated from the rest of everything that's entails in being a band.
The Norselands we will talk about afterwards. But one question about this. So I don't think you are a band that can do, for example, good songwriting on tour. I mean, some bands are going on tour and then jamming around in between the shows. I think your music is too complex and too deep, probably to do it on the road.
Thank you.
I guess some ideas, riffs and ideas and ideas are made, but yeah, you're completely right. The nature of the music doesn't really allow for here guys, here's the riff, and that's the entire song.
I think the best way is probably to rent a cabin up in the mountain and stay there for a few weeks, and just focus on the ideas. That is the best way. But that being said, I really wanted to find a setup that could make us be able to create while on tour as well, because you have a different energy And I feel like the riffs you create while like doing rehearsals and testing the sound, it's quite sort of direct in a way. So to find a way of sort of actually writing on tour in between sound checks, that would be amazing.
I think right now with the situation we're in, we're still sort of up and coming, and we are rigging up the stage ourselves with the local crew and taking it down ourselves and performing as well, and putting everything in the van, and then but I think once we are able to bring our own crew on the road, that will give us a bit more free time to actually focus on the concert and maybe have some time to
set up a
play
portable
around
studio in
with
the
stuff.
bus.
Yeah, so I think I don't think that we should use tour as an excuse to not write. I think it's good to sort of maybe be open to the possibility that we might be able to at some point.
But this is an interesting point, because many people in underground, for example, say, okay, when it gets commercial, when you earn music, it's not good because it stops the art. But as you tell, it's other way around. The more money you get in, the more freedom you get for your art. Is it like this?
Of course, of course, yeah.
It's like this with anything, like every hobby you have or any job you have. If you're a carpenter or a painter, you need the time to do it. So yeah, more money equals more time.
Yeah, up until now, we're all been doing part-time jobs to finance our music, and that takes a lot of time away from writing music. And like, there's a lot of problems you could solve a lot quicker with money than if you don't have money, because then you have to make your own studio and sort of do all the recording yourself and learn how to do that before you can release something.
Yeah.
But if you had like the money to just pay the studios and have a producer, you could focus more on the creative side. But you also learn a lot from having to do those things yourself. So
I feel like we've become very capable throughout the years. I mean, when I think about an album I want to make now, before it was like, oh, but how do we do it? We don't really have the skill set to create that. I'm not sure. But then now I feel like, oh yeah, no, we can totally do that. We're totally capable of making.
Still very much a DIY band, even though we have all our partners and everything. It's doing a lot of stuff ourselves.
Yeah.
I see, but it's a cool point, and cool to tell people outside that money is not bad in all ways.
Yeah, no.
Capitalism maybe in some ways, but money as an artist is always good, and earning money is a good point. And
makes the
then
world go round. It makes the world go round. Sorry, what were you saying?
I just wanted to come now slowly to the present, because we want to talk about your current album, but we have to do another step. You mentioned it, Northlands.
Yeah.
Interesting thing. So this was, as I understood, like doing a soundtrack for a computer game or video game. And then this became an extra album. Is it like this? Maybe you can tell the story yourself.
Yeah, we were contacted by Raw Fury, the production company that made the game, the studio. And yeah, it was a very interesting process. But in the beginning, it wasn't really planned as we're going to release this as an album. But that sort of happened later in the process, where we sort of extended the songs, rewrote some things to make it fit more in the for listening pleasure as opposed to being background music.
You can get like the original sort of gaming album on Steam, I think it's called.
Yeah, it should be on Steam.
But it's mixed differently than the album that's out on streaming platforms. The vocal is a lot more present on streaming services, whereas the vocal takes more of like an instrument for the game, because you don't want to interfere with the gamer's mind when he's playing. You want the vocal to sort of
be zen background music.
Be background music, yeah.
So did you learn something new out of this process? Maybe did you, for example, have to play the game to do a good soundtrack?
Oh, Oskar played the game.
I played the game a lot. I think it's a good game. And it's easy for a little bit older gaming generation to just move that way, or pick up a coin, which is satisfying, I think.
Picking up coins. These also the finance man in the bank. Does our finances.
But yes, so for we did learn quite a bit. Some new instruments, how to record some new instruments, how to arrange for a series of like sort of traditional Norwegian and just in general traditional instruments we hadn't used before. So I think all the lessons we learned from how we approached the songwriting and the composing to what kind of instruments we had, that did translate over into next album, and also into probably in the future too. There's some tricks in the trick bag that we learned during that making that album.
I also learned a lot about my own patience making that album, and also daring to sit down and make shitty ideas in a way, and like be accepting of whatever comes. A lot of those tracks I made by myself, all of the vocal layers of rimfaxi and eiktirnir and stuff like that. So for me, it was a very useful process to have to go through, and I felt a lot more capable as a producer after.
And this brings us to the present. As you mentioned, it was some new instruments, for example, and the new album will come out now as we record this in 2 weeks, I think. But probably when I publish the interview, it will be around the release, a day before, a day after, or something like that.
We can say it's coming soon.
Soon.
Yeah, it's really soon. So, are you excited?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be great to see how people react. It's even though this is the third album, it does kind of feel like the second album, since this is more of what kind of the music we actually do.
It's an extension of the line in a way, where it's more like studio recorded music.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how people have been reacting very well to the singles already. So how the reviews are gonna go. Yeah, I'm excited.
I haven't really thought about it because I've been so busy thinking about the tour and making sure the merch is in place, and thinking about new music already. So yeah, but my mind is
and you have to do the promotional stuff like this.
I will say, just for you other guys, I listened through the album for the first time since we finished it 2 days ago, and it's a very good album. So
okay.
I had to leave it for a couple of months.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
that's the stay away for a bit.
Because you're sort of, while creating it, you are so focused on the little details, and then you try to sort of make this story arch based on the songs you have to fit in this album, and then you listen to it again and again to try to sort of make it as good as it can be. I probably listened to the entire album like 12 times while mixing and mastering and arranging it. And by the end of it, it's sort of, you've taken away all the things you need to take away, and you highlight the things you need to highlight, and you have no idea how good it is, because you're in the sort of little details. You can't see the big picture.
No.
So you have to sort of let it go almost, instead of saying like, ideally you should have taken like 2 more months and then just laying it to rest and then listen to it and see like, oh, is it good enough? Yeah, it's good enough. Now we can sort of release it. But we had to sort of reach the line. So now it's been like, we haven't sort of, or except Florian that just listened to it 2 days ago, I haven't been able to sort of taking a step back and listen to it and have like objective eyes or ears. And so I'm just excited to see what people think.
I remember while we were making it, I had a mindful moment where I was like, this is gonna be so good. And then but now after, I've been like, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, but I've needed to have a bit of a break. So I'm looking forward to when it comes out. I'm still probably going to be on a break from hearing it, and I'll just sort of take in what people say, and they'll probably have, by hearing what other people say, I'm reminded of the process again. So maybe that will make me see it in a new light through their eyes in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, surely. That's what I'm looking forward to. Just people's reactions will make me happy about the music.
And also, I'm very excited about playing the songs live.
Yeah.
Because then, like, there's a lot of rearrangement that has to be done, and sort of having to discover new ways of doing this, because we didn't really take that into consideration when we wrote the music, how we're gonna perform it live. So we're in the process now of arranging a few of the songs for live. So that is an exciting process for me.
I'm looking forward to play I Am.
Yeah.
There's a couple of songs Oskar has that he wrote sort of 5-arm drums.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yeah, but the interesting thing is you will be on tour when it gets released, so you can get the reactions instantly from the people.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, meeting fans after the show, that's kind of the only time you actually get a response in a way, like a direct response from the music you've performed and the music you've made. So and I find that very useful for us, because you've been locked away for so long just thinking about yourself basically and the music you make, and so it's very useful for us to get more of an overview, broaden our horizons a bit through other people.
What you mean? But we have to. It's always the same. We didn't mention the title so far. I think the state of mind.
Yeah.
This is
A
we're
frame
talking
of
about the
mind.
new album, and we didn't mention the title. It's a state of mind. People outside.
No.
It's a frame of mind. But
Yes,
there is a song on there called "The State of the World."
Yeah, and then I didn't write it. I did write it right, but I read it wrong. Frame of mind.
Yeah.
Maybe I cut this. But yeah, a frame of mind, and for sure there's a story behind this, because as far as I read the lyrics, for example, they are all about things in mind, things we have to deal with. Is it like this? So is it like always the same question, but like a concept album, or is it more or less?
It's not a concept album. It's definitely not the concept album, but it is, I would say, just like if you've written a good book, then you have time to sort of go back and re-edit it and make things fit. So I think we have written loads of short stories, good songs, and we found a theme of it all that was kind of natural, because we've been writing about things that matter to us in the moment. And certainly, like, we had like a lot of songs, like probably 50 song ideas that got narrowed down to the 10 songs on the album. And I think there is a lot of common themes, and there is a lot of thought put into where the tracks go. So you can say there is an arch in the song, or there's a resolve, and we want listeners to get a certain emotion across, maybe, or like have a journey that makes sense, but it wasn't intended as a concept album.
But we obviously try to sort of make the storytelling ebb and flow naturally. So yeah, we are very conscious of where we've put the songs. It's not like we just smack it on there.
But that goes for us for the title of the album. That is a result of the album, and not the other way around. It's the sort of the songs inspire that to because all the songs and all the way all of us perceive it, it's just a frame of mind, but different perspectives.
Yeah, I think it, like, for the title, it was an interesting process. We sort of all had like a bunch of like ideas that we put up into this Google Sheet document, and we all sort of came with sort of similar sounding ideas. Like, there was a lot of the same references without us having talked about it, and then it was just like a friend of mine that was the one we all agreed on.
Which was my suggestion.
Oh, now you remember suddenly.
Oh, I remember that one.
So you get the credits for this one, the money.
Yeah, she takes all the money.
We share very evenly.
Yeah.
Also, I've seen you all write it down, like you are all part of the songwriting process, as far as I've seen.
Yeah.
Where it's necessary, we all contribute on pretty much every part of everyone's instrument or songwriting and composing.
Yeah.
We try and make it as inclusive as it can be, if it's best for the song.
Yeah.
If someone is just in the way, then and it's hard to be in the way and know you are. You sort of have to step aside. But mostly we all contribute.
Yeah, I would say so.
And as I mentioned before, I was asked to do this interview last night, so I didn't have so much time to prepare, but I had at least 2 times to listen to it. And maybe you can tell me a little bit. One song is more or less like an instrumental. You are doing some vocals on this, I think, Katrine, but not singing lyrics. So it's Twitter.
Yeah.
And I think it's very outstanding because all the other songs are more like dark, like dealing with mind things and stuff. And this one is like warm, like keeping one back. Is it like this? Is it like the warm refuge you wanted to have on the album? Some
Yeah.
counterpart?
I actually think now, because I listened to the track actually a few days ago, and I feel like the vocals could be even further down in the mix. But I always have notes. But yes, it is actually one of my favorite tracks because it's just sort of a soundscape. Hytta means cabin, and many Norwegians like to escape to cabins, to get away from people and just be in contact with nature. And that's kind of what I wanted to capture with the song. Hytta is used to be a place where my family cabin was. It was built in 1937, and then it was demolished in 2023 because it was just becoming too difficult to fix. And so that's been a very big part of the past few years, and I just wanted to capture the environment of being at the cabin during summertime, and walking down towards the sea, swimming in the sea. There's a splash when Jogeir jumps in the ocean. So I just walked around sort of capturing my mom and my family and my Dutch relatives from Belgium sort of doing the dishes. It was important for me to capture.
It was people from Belgium? No, Belgians from Belgium.
Yeah, flams.
Cool.
It was very like the songwriting process was very spontaneous in that one. I think I was just sitting jamming on piano.
Yeah.
And then Katrine was just recording stuff.
And it was really, really lovely the way he was playing piano, because you're just playing intervals, like a fifth to a sixth to a seventh. Do 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 do. And you were just sort of looking outside the window, and we could hear birds sing, and you could hear someone being on a boat really far away, and you're just playing those intervals while just like the environment of summer is just passing by in a way. It was very
I feel like just writing about or talking about the concept of the album, that's not a concept album. I always thought that song was going to be sort of the key for like gives it needs to be a space after a lot of heaviness, and it needs to sort of prepare the listeners for some resolve, like, because there's a lot in the beginning, there's a lot of things that deals with issues or obstacles, and then that song maybe comes after this deepest dive, and it gives you, the listener, time to reflect on what you listen to. So it's impactful in the space it's gotten in the album, and it leaves some really good sort of, it gives time to listen to be prepared for last.
Yeah,
so a kind of a palate cleanser for your ears.
But I do remember I had to really fight to get it on the record, because not everyone agreed that it should be on there. But it was a very, I mean, that's a frame from my mind that I really needed to have on there. So
you see, it's kind of like if you look at the album artwork, and this is not intentionally, but that tune is much like those few rays of light in the middle of the artwork. It's mostly cloudy and mostly kind of dark, but there's some sunshine there too.
Didn't think
But
about
this is exactly what I felt, and this was why I asked for the song, because it was like listening to all those issues, all those mind things, and then it was like coming down, settle back, like this. And we can't talk about every song, and I think we have lots of material now, so we'll slowly come to an end. But we have to talk about the last song, because this is, I have it here, I Remember a Time, right? And there's one sentence that says, hope is scary. So maybe you can explain this. Why is hope scary?
that was your sentence.
That was my
You
sentence.
guys,
Should I
maybe you
explain
can-
it?
Yeah.
I think if you are in the deep of depression, sometimes it's a defense to sort of just say that I'm the best at having the worst. Like I can, like, I'm gonna be a loser, I'm gonna be depressed, but at least I'm really good at it, you know? So the transition from going to, I actually believe I can change, I believe I can go somewhere, that is scary, because you have to change who you are. You have to change the identity of who you are. So, but when you suddenly believe that you can make a difference, and that you can become a better person, it is scary. But you have to admit that fact in order to actually go through with it, not go back.
Well, now I understand, because this song also touched me, and I was thinking about this frame, but I didn't have that much time to think about it, as I mentioned. So this is good, and I can, after this interview, I will think a little bit more about it. This is what I will take afterwards. And as I mentioned, we will come to an end now, but we have to talk about the tour. It's starting in a few days, I think.
Yeah,
I think
10, 11 days time, heading off on the 10th. It's gonna be fantastic. We haven't been, don't listen to her. No, no, we've been doing some festival touring this summer, but now we are going all across Europe on our first headliner tour. And we did a co-headlining thing last year, but this will be the first time. It's all on us. It's on our shoulders if people show up or not. And going to some places we've been before and to some new places. So
just for the people outside, what was the core headlining? Who has been the other headliner back then?
Last year was Eddie Williams and Kalandra. This year we will be headlining, and then we have support with Lily Refrain, which will be joining us for the
really
entire tour.
So maybe tell about her. Why did you take her? What is cool about her?
She's a witch. And it's worth opening yourself to her universe. I mean, she does really sort of extroverted performances. Like, she puts a lot of sort of acting into it, and it's really fun to watch. And she's how she does everything herself is really impressive as well.
And she keeps improving. Like, we've seen her 2 times, and it was just, and she's been doing it for a long time, and she's a great musician. She has some really cool, like, she's looping a lot of the things she does her, and like, I remember seeing her at Inferno like a few years back, and it was pretty good, and then seeing it at Midgardsbot, and it was even better, like in just a year. So it's cool to have someone, like, I guess we can relate to her
process.
Process of just exploring yourself and becoming better and better in what you do. So
it's a journey. It's a long journey.
And I think, as I mentioned, when this interview will be published, the video as well as the article, some of the shows might be gone, but many shows will be upcoming, because I think you're going till end of October, something like this. So it's a long tour. So people go to shows as you can. Last question about this: what is important to you to have a good show, have a good concert evening?
What's
important
to
you
to have a good show?
Good foods and
good food.
Feeling welcome at the venue and in the town, and then for the people to be there, to be respectful of others around them and be respectful of us. So if there's a very tender, slow song, don't be screaming and yelling, being drunk. But when there's loud noises, then please scream and yell, be drunk.
Yeah.
So it's an attentive audience is what makes a good show for us.
But also, I feel like when everybody involved knows their role, like the whole crew and everyone is there to prepare for the show, and people know where stuff is. There's all the equipment we need, stuff like that. Yeah.
Some small question about this. What was the best food, best catering you had so far?
The two best catering. I remember the very best was with on the Vardruna tour. We were in Plovdiv in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And they had the best catering, and the desserts there were like,
But it's worth mentioning that was not necessarily for us. You know, we were
it was for everyone.
we were supporting Vardruna then at the time. But
Yeah.
for us, I feel like the best food we've had was when we were in Warszawa in Poland.
Yeah, hybridny.
Yeah, we were going back there to Hybridi. They given us a big spread. Very
Yeah.
The Polish know how to treat their guests.
And we were so exhausted and we were so hungry, and we came in and we're like, food.
Cool. So I think now we'll come to the end. We have some free words, some greetings to the people outside. You wanna tell them?
Come to our shows. Please listen to the album and tell us what you think.
Or don't. I mean, whatever. If maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Yeah, whatever. It's fine.
But you won't know until you listen to it. So
Thank you for your attention.
Yeah. So thank you for the nice talk. Very spontaneous. Thanks people outside for watching. Check them out, Kalandra, sorry. And see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for
Bye.
having us.
Take care. Bye.